this past weekend, I did an interesting thing. I took the whole family and we drove 5 hours away on Saturday morning at the crack of dawn, and then drove 5 hours back on Sunday night. We went to a Warner Brothers theme park in Madrid, um, and it's sort of like you think of Warner Brothers and you think of Looney Tunes, right?
Yeah.
Um, and but since then, Warner Brothers has been like buying up other media. Like they bought Hanna Barbera,
Yeah, right.
so they own the Jetsons and Flintstones and whatnot.
Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear, yep. And so it was this sort of theme park, but like kids these days, because Disney has driven Warner Brothers into the ground, like really, children these days don't know any of those characters. They don't know. I mean, there's a little bit of knowledge of who Bugs Bunny is, maybe, but
Uh-huh.
but beyond that, you don't get.
Uh-huh.
There's not a lot of Roadrunner and Coyote
Yeah.
on the screen on the TV screens or anything like that. So it was sort of like this
New.
theme, like. But the whole point of a theme park is you're going to see characters that you know and love. So it was, all the kids are like, well, what? Who is
Who?
this? Yeah, I
Who,
mean,
who are you?
right. Like I've shown my kids the really horrible new live action Scooby Doo movie, but they've never seen a Scooby Doo cartoon. They don't know any of the tropes of the man that's
Right.
unmasked, and the ghost wasn't really the ghost. It was,
Right.
oh, you meddling kids, blah blah blah. So they don't know any of that. So it's just sort of this. It's almost as if you're going to a theme park where you've never heard of. It's almost like you're going to Disneyland, but you've never heard of any of the Disney franchises. So there's just these big, man-sized animals walking around that you don't know who the hell they are or anything like that.
Right.
But they were sort of roller coastery rides and crap like that to see. So, uh, but
And so, but was it good for you because you know all those
no,
characters?
well, I know all the characters, but it was sort of sad for me because the execution was so lame that like it it didn't. Well, first of all, a theme park is for children. Well,
Right.
at
Right.
least,
Right.
I mean, I've heard that some grown-ups can go to Disney World and Disneyland and stuff and really have a pleasant time because it's just so well
Yeah.
done.
Right.
But
Right.
this was in the same way that Warner Brothers has fallen behind of Disney. I think this was sort of the equivalent of that, but in a theme park. So
Yeah.
it was sort of dirty and not well executed, and the some of the staff members were mean, and it was just rough.
Subpar.
It was subpar, yes.
Oh God
Uh,
Almighty!
but
And it was 5 hours up and 5 hours back.
and
But
of course expensive as shit.
Yeah, did you manage to have fun?
Uh, okay, so the takeaway is when I was there waiting in, and so we got there and we there was like there's a Wild West world and there's a Hollywood land and then there's a superheroes because Warner Brothers owns the DC superheroes like Superman and Batman. Uh, and then there was the cartoon area, and I walked in and I was like, well, the only thing Warner Brothers is worth is the cartoon, so let's go to the cartoon area. And the very first thing to do in the cartoon area was this Scooby Doo mystery hut, uh, and and it was really so you walk you see this sort of house that's decorated Scooby Dooey, and there's a sign saying entrance on one side. So you go peer in the entrance, and you look, and there's just this room about the size of a normal bedroom with a little line snaking with barriers. So there's like 20 people in there, and you're
Yeah.
like, well, that looks like a short enough line. And so you go in there and you wait in line, you go through the room, you go snaking around, and you get to the doorway, and the next room is the room just like the one you're in with another line snaking all the way the fuck around. And you're like, all right, well, surely the next door is the actual, ride
Right.
or thing we're gonna do. We didn't even know what it
Right.
was gonna be.
Right. Right.
And
Right. Right.
and so you get over to the next one, and it's room after room after room. And because they want it to be spooky, it's all super dark and with black lights and stuff. So like, there's no ventilation, and you're in this place with 100 other people, a bunch of little kids who I must say were quite well behaved for being
Right.
ages 2 to 10.
Right.
Um, and so you're sort of sneaking along, and the kids are swinging around on the little barriers between the where you're supposed to be, and it was one whole hour to get to the place where the actual ride was,
Oh my God.
and in this stuffy, stinky place. And luckily, there was one towards the end. There was a door that's like an emergency exit in case of a fire that people had sort of jimmied open and were letting in both light and fresh air. So you get to the very end, and what the ride was you sit four people in a little cart, and in front of you in the cart, each of you has a little laser pistol, and you go through this sort of black lights thing where it's attempting to be spooky, but you don't want to really scare children. So there's like stuff that like a coffin that like almost falls on you, and you're supposed to be shooting at these little targets all around you as you go through this thing. Anyway, I was so cynical by the time I actually got on the damn cart that I set a stopwatch on my watch to see how long the ride was.
Right. Right.
And if we had gotten there and in 1 minute got on the ride and could do the ride, I might even actually go back and do it again because there were so many things to look at left and right that you didn't really see of it. I wouldn't say good, but it was not
comparatively
bad.
Comparatively.
Yeah. The whole ride after waiting for 1 hour was 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Oh.
And then it was done, and we're like, okay, let's go do something else. Let's go do something else.
And Howard and the children went from room to room, but what was there of interest in each room?
Oh yeah, nothing. There was sort of cartoonish, as a lot of them were as if there was like going to be a scary portrait on the wall. Like there was the frame, but there was like nothing in the frame. And there was another one. There was like some cartoon torches or something. It wasn't well executed. Like you could have made something to look at in every room.
Right.
And in fact, in the very last room, there was a TV on the wall showing the same 45 seconds of a Wile E. Coyote cartoon that was actually way more entertaining than anything else in the other room. You watch he's loading a rock onto a catapult and he pulls the string and you've been there.
It's my favorite.
Exactly.
It was my favorite.
Yeah. So
minute.
Exactly. So and what's amazing is, I mean, like the genius behind that whole construct of the Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner.
Yeah.
You don't even need sound for that. You can just watch it and you.
Well, you know the artist's name, who was the voice of all Mel Blanc.
Yeah. He did all the voices. Yeah.
And was responsible for the tone and the attitude of the characters, toward each other. And I think in a large way, they he was both the cartoon. He wasn't the cartoonist and the voice. He was just the voices.
Right.
Which was he?
He was the voices. Yeah.
Voices. Right.
At some point, he had a really serious car accident. He was driving fast on the California highways, the coastal highway, and he got really badly hurt. But I think he recovered at least for a little while to go back to work. But yeah, so it was very.
You know what I heard?
What'd you hear?
He hit a Roadrunner. Minute.
He was following a Roadrunner, trying to go through a painting in the cliff.
Right.
The Roadrunner went right
exploded.
through. Right.
It exploded like a firecracker, and they paused in the air. And before they fell, gravity took them over. They had the perfect look of, oh, what the fuck? And then they would fall.
Right,
was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah, and nowadays, Wile E. Coyote would hold up a sign that says WTF.
Right.
Nice.
And the Roadrunner was just very nonchalant about everything. This is so easy for me because I'm so smart compared to this total buffoonish Wile E. Coyote who it was great because you identified with both of them.
Exactly. Exactly.
So your better self and your worst self.
Well, I don't know. The coyote, because everyone has made plans and had them not go the way they wanted.
Right. Literally drop out from under you.
Yeah. And it's also, it's nice to watch the failure of others because it makes you feel better. That's why people like those videos. There's a bunch of videos where people fall down and stuff. I don't know if that's the pleasure of that, but it's nice to see, other people being imperfect.
Well, it starts with slapstick and then works its way into all sorts of different comedic devices, but at the end of the day, it's simply about people doing stupid things, and it's funny. I mean, when we do it, sometimes we think it's funny. I mean, we make a mistake. We laugh out loud at how stupid we were. So other people are really just kind of joining in. I mean,
Yeah, there's a so there's an internet meme called "Hold My Beer." It's like, hey, we're all drinking. I'm about to do something really cool. Hold my beer, and then whatever chaos ensues of
right.
whatever that is. There's some good Twitter accounts and stuff of people doing crazy stuff. And then,
what they do when they give somebody their beer,
right,
and
exactly.
say, "Hold my beer,"
Yeah.
and then they launch into
Yeah.
some
Watch this.
crazy,
Yeah.
right, and do crazy shit.
I'm about to go jump off the roof or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Fall and hurt myself and land on my crotch, and then when their balls hurt, we go, "Oh, we laugh, it's funny, but oh, it hurts," but yeah, we think it's funny.
Yeah. I remember, where did I learn? Maybe not in like a psychology course or something, but the people that study humor and what is funny, a big part of, and they look at like what babies find funny, and a lot of what babies find funny is what it is a release from fear, like, oh no, someone's falling, oh but they're okay, and babies find that really funny. That's like the whole origin of slapstick, and why
Right.
it's funny when Charlie Chaplin falls down in a comedic way, or all of the
Right.
physical comedians.
It doesn't hurt himself.
Right, he gets up.
hurt.
Right, because if he fell down and then was like hauled off in a stretcher, they would be like, that's not quite so funny.
Right.
But that's a very base sense that apparently goes more or less across human cultures. But so yeah, the watching, and I mean that's like the whole origin of